actually wanted to point.
All right, Ms. Amkewala, thank you so much for joining me in the broadcast, and I'd like to thank Mr. Adish Agrawal as well. Now, India's Defence Ministry is set to take up a proposal this week for the acquisition of 114 Rafale fighter jets from France in a deal valued at approximately 3.25 lakh crore, which would be India's largest ever defence procurement if approved. The high-level meeting in New Delhi will review the plan to induct the jets into the Indian Air Force, with around 12 to 18 aircrafts expected to be delivered in flyaway condition soon after contract signing, and the remainder manufactured in India under a Make in India arrangement with about 30% indigenous content initially. Officials say India is also seeking France's approval to integrate Indian weapons and systems on board the Rafale platform under a government-to-government contract, although critical source codes would remain under French control. If the proposal clears the Defence Ministry and secures final sanction from the Cabinet Committee on Security, India's Rafale fleet would grow to 176 jets, adding significantly to its combat strength amid evolving regional security challenges. Let's now take a look at what the key takeaways from the deal are and how will India make Rafale. Let me show you that, viewers. Now, the India-Rafale deal. Let's begin by talking about the key takeaways. Now, reports. Now, India aiming to close in on deal acquiring 114 Rafale jets. That is the first key takeaway. Now, the deal will take the number of Rafale jets in the Indian military to 176. Once approved by the Defence Ministry, the deal will await final clearance by the Cabinet Committee on Security. Now, the French side is also planning to set up a maintenance, repair and overhaul facility for M88 N9s in Hyderabad. So that's what the French side's also planning to do. Primary hub. The primary hub will be at Dassault Reliance Aerospace Limited facility in Nagpur assembly of complete Rafale jets, scaling to produce up to 2 aircrafts per month. So that, viewers, is the primary hub. Now, fuselage manufacturing, let's talk about that. Another very important aspect of the Rafale. Now, Tata Advanced Systems Limited will produce the complete Rafale fuselage at a dedicated facility in Hyderabad, and this marks the first time Rafale fuselages are made outside France. That's a big feat. Now, engine assembly and MRO. Now, French partner Safran will set up facilities for assembling the M88 engines in India. A dedicated maintenance, repair and overhaul center will support engines and aircraft sustainment. Let's talk about the indigenous content aspect here. Now, target of 30 to 60% indigenous value, including integration of Indian weapons and systems. Technology transfer will focus on manufacturing, integration and upgrades. So now, of course, viewers, that is the indigenous way that we're going when it comes to Rafale. So this is, of course, the entire profile, viewers, that we've shared with you. This is a big development. We're going indigenous as far as Rafale aircrafts are concerned, and this is a big feat for India. Now, India's Defence Ministry, of course, is set up to take a proposal this week for the acquisition of 114 Rafale fighter jets from France. I have Ajay Jandyal joining me with more details. Ajay, what more can you tell us?
Yes, this is going to be a major, breakthrough and boost to the Indian Air Force, because we have seen that during the Operation Sindoor, how our fighter jets as well as Rafales have performed, and they have, decimated Pakistan's various plan and Pakistan's terror launch pad and air bases as well. Rafales, according to information, about 114 Rafales, Defense Ministry is, planning to buy in the coming time, and this is going to be a biggest defense deal if it got okay from the from the ministry, and 3.25 lakh crore deal is going to be done in the next 1 or 2 weeks. So this is going to be a major a boost to the defense system of the Indian Air Force.
All right, Ajay, stay on with me. So viewers, we're sharing this big news with you, of course. India's Defense Ministry is set to take up a proposal this week for the acquisition of 114 Rafale fighter jets from France. I have Group Captain Tapesh Chaudhary, former Indian Air Force officer, joining me. Group Captain Chaudhary, welcome. And this is, of course, a big feat for India. What would you like to say?
Yes, ma'am. It's a welcome step. Actually, India growing concern on security all around our country, and the kind of scenario, the geopolitical scenario nowadays we are facing, it is very important to grow our strength in terms of defense. As far as fighter aircrafts are concerned, we all know that we are not self-sufficient. Tejas has not progressed the way we would have liked. The Air Chief has also commented at least twice about the fact we are still facing the problems of engines, etc. And AMCA is 10 to 12 years away. But since we have reduced to almost 29 to 30 squadrons against the sanctioned strength of 42, though I don't agree with the sanctioned strength of 42, because when it was sanctioned, the scenario was different. Now it is different. But still, as far as if we talk about the government sanctioned strength, we are much far away. So we have to fill up that gap. And fighter aircrafts are very, very important aspects of any warfare nowadays, because Air Force being the first responder, the fighter aircraft plays a major role. So in this case, the deal, if it is signed and it is decided, it is a very, very welcome step, because if you see, some may argue that Rafale is a 4.5 generation aircraft, we should go for 5th generation, etc. But understand the fact that a lot of time goes by in terms of survey, in terms of studies, in terms of negotiations, etc. Here we are already operating one platform, and also when you buy any other new platform, you have to build up a lot of infra, which itself takes a lot of time. Once you are already operating, you have a trained pilot, you have a trained crew, etc. So it is always easier to operate the same aircraft. So these 114 aircraft which Indian government is planning to buy is a very, very welcoming step, and it will fill up the short-term gap which has come into our inventory. Though the source code and other things are important to induct our own weapons onto the Rafale, but in times to see the way US is behaving, the way geopolitical scenario is happening, never know, France may also agree to that. Back to you.
All right, Group Captain Chaudhary, thank you for joining me on the broadcast.